Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Nick Files. I'm your host, Nick Muley. I gotta say, it's been quite a while since I've really done, well, maybe not a while, but a couple of weeks since I've really done any shows, and I do apologize, that I haven't been able to do it lately for the last few weeks. Obviously, with it being the Halloween season, anyway, so it's it's been quite a journey. Real quick, just before we get started on anything, I could have sworn I'm looking at one of the destinations right now, and I could have sworn. Okay, yeah, here's what I was looking for. For whatever reason, it was not one destination was not showing up, but it's not a big major loss because I was able to get it fixed. Big old Tom. So, anyways, yeah. Tonight we're going to be picking up from where we left off a few weeks ago, and which are going to continue on the reports and encounters of these of what are known as phantom cats or alien big cats. And last time that we spoke about it, we were kind of mainly focused on the reports that went on throughout Australia and some other parts of Europe, but now, well, and also a part of North America as well. Now I looked back at the first part. Now we're going to continue on the journey of where else these creatures have also been seen. What I would These phantom cats is what I would pretty much call a worldwide cryptid, very much kind of the same way like you see with Bigfoot and similar creatures to that one. So, without further ado, we're gonna get started right away. Just wanted to check to make sure there was no one else who said anything just yet, but it's pretty quiet in the chat. Oh wait, nope, now they're starting to come in. Good evening, Natalie. Good to see you. So, like I said, without further ado, let's get started. What's up, Tom? All right. Of course, we always got to go through this routine as always. It's too bad there's not one way to just have this all put together in one press of a button. So I better check the screen. I better check the screen too to make sure that this is working. So this is where we were last time. I think the next country that we were going to be focusing on involving these phantom cats. As soon as I see if it's jeez. All right, hang on one second. Okay, screens work. Okay, so continuing on from last time. But yeah, so the next country we were going to be focusing on when involving these sightings is Denmark, as a matter of fact. So apparently, from what I remember hearing about this one was that in 1995, a big cat, usually described as a lion, but sometimes as a lynx, was dubbed the Beast of Funen by numerous eyewitnesses. There was an earlier big cat sighting from 1982 in southern Jutland. The beast was first observed on Saturday, the 13th of May of that year, in the village of Kurtinge, if I'm saying that right, in eastern Funen in Denmark. The witness immediately called the police, reporting that there was a lion outside his house. The accounts do little to conceal that the Nyborg police were somewhat skeptical. This may be due to the fact that the informer was a Copenhagener who lived only occasionally in Kurtinge. One has, after all, heard of city dwellers who are quite unacquainted to the sight of a living cow or other creatures that roam the open spaces. But the police of Nyborg had another call. Other people had seen the lion, and at last they went off to investigate. According to the newspaper, the constables were poorly equipped for this kind of assignment, as they set out armed with nothing more than batons and walkie talkies, leaving the heavy guns such as water cannons at home. They did not see the lion, and that may be just as well. A peaceful weekend went by. Then, just like with some of these cryptids that might give these it might somehow take a break, if you will. The line was back on May 15th. Peter Tyleson had been driving his wife to work in Nyborg, and just after 8, he saw a big yellow female lion strolling along beside the motorway where no one is allowed to walk, man or beast. I'm not 100% certain of what I saw, but I do believe it was a lion. The tail had that distinctive sway to it, he explained, and it was rather big, you know. The beast made a few long leaps across Storbeelt's road and disappeared. Nyborg police kept a low profile, but the newspaper obtained a statement from a biologist at Odense Zoo, Nina Colonnes Christensen. I think it must have been a large dog. That's the only animal I could think of that may be mistaken for a lion, she said. One assumes that she had counted the lions of the zoo before making the statement. The lion park of Givskud, if I'm saying that right, reported that all their lions were still on the right side of the fence. The manager of the lion park was of the opinion that what had been observed in Funen was nothing more than a golden retriever. The editor of these pages made a visit himself to Givskud in the Whitsun holidays and was also skeptical of the idea that it could have been one of the lions of this park. The beast looked incredibly lazy and seemed hardly capable of crossing one of the bridges connecting Jutland with Funen. A sign told the visitor that it was not uncommon for the lions to lie flat out 20 hours a day. Oh, forgot to put a fade in on that one. In 1 second here. So Klaus Dryby, manager of Wissenberg. See, see, this is sometimes difficult with some of these foreign town names. I can't pronounce them always correct. Vivarium in Funen thought that the animal might be a jungle cat. In Holland and Belgium, among other places, a number of jungle cats are privately owned, and I know there are some in Denmark too. A jungle cat, a Felis chaus in Latin, is a wild feline about the size of a Labrador dog, and it is quite possible to mistake it for a lion. He adds that a pair of jungle cats can be bought for 7,000 Danish kroner. On May 18th, Extra Bladet says that a 6-year-old boy has seen the lion in Frorup, and that police in great numbers are hunting the feline in eastern Funen. The boy, named Jacob, watched the lion cross the street by Gaden and disappear into the butcher's garden. Another newspaper has it was that the vicar's garden. That it was in the vicar's garden, but it was in Frorup. The Nyborg police were not successful this time either. And besides, the newspaper says one could appreciate a certain relief at Nyborg police station that the lion now seemed to be moving into Svendborg police district. According to the same source, a sportsman in Orbeek had spotted the lion near his hen house at a very close distance. He asked permission to shoot the beast, and that was all right with the authorities. But by the time he had fetched and loaded his rifle, the lion was gone. And that was all I was able to find as far as sightings of apparently this mysterious this mysterious lion out in Denmark. So moving on to the next country already, France. This was a mysterious animal that terrorized the province of I don't even know how to say that one, in France in the 17th century. So this is probably one of the oldest cases then involving these cat-like creatures. Though at the time it was thought to be a wolf or part wolf. Its behavior was unlike that of wolves. Modern research has suggested that it may have been a lion that escaped from a nobleman's private zoo. Well, that's kind of odd. I don't know why it's. Oh, wait, here, hold on 1 second, guys. I'm going to fix something real quick because apparently some of this information got repeated. So let's see if we can fix this real quick. I don't know how that was even able to happen. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I mean, this will give me a chance to get to the shout outs to anyone else who's commented since then. All right, so who do we got? Hello, Yvonne. Good to see you. Hello, Eric. Okay. Now let's get through this process once again. All righty. Okay, so apparently this was all the same. Apparently, I must have accidentally put in the same information twice. So what I had to do was I had to get rid of that information about France on the previous page and then just keep this one since it actually has a picture next to it. So, but that was really all the information I was able to find as far as the phantom cats in this case of France. So, continuing next on to the next and continuing on, of course, now to the next country, which this time it was Finland. This time it's Finland. A supposed lion moved around Ruokolahti, if I'm saying that right, near the Finnish-Russian border in June to August 1992. There were multiple sightings. Tracks were identified by a government biologist as a big feline not native to Finland. The biologist was given police powers to capture or shoot the lion by the Ministry of the Interior, excuse me. Border guards participated in the hunt. The last reported sightings were in Russia, and there were reports that the lion was seen by Finnish border guards and that lion tracks were found in the raked sandfield used by Russian border guards to detect crossings. The lion was, and of course, just like some of these other mysterious cat-like creatures, the lion was never captured, and the incidents have never been explained. Although one possible explanation could have been a railway accident of a circus train in Russia, from which some animals escape, which is not surprising, even though a lot of times, sadly, a lot of these animals are killed. At the same time, though, there are several of them that do manage to survive and escape out into the wilderness. So let's see. The next country I got here now is going to be going now, taking a turn to close to Southeast Asia, India in this case. And the case in India, there's what's known over there. It's known as the Pogoyan, which, if I'm saying that correctly, is a large gray feline known to local people living in the West Ghats, India. The name Pogoyan is derived from the local dialect and means the cat that comes and goes like mist. Wildlife photographer and environmentalist Sandesh Kadur saw this cat in 1999. His sighting occurred during broad daylight in the high altitude grasslands around Anamudi, the highest peak south of the Himalayas. Unfortunately, the cat was not photographed or filmed. But although he did, as you can see, he did manage to draw a sketch of it. It was large, long-tailed, and had rounded ears and a uniform darkish gray color. It does not match any known it does not match any known cat and might therefore represent a new species. In an effort to film the animal, Sandish set up a camera trap. A chirping model of a black cat chickadee was used as bait and also used a heat-sensitive camera. Unfortunately, neither effort yielded any images of the cat. An artist was shown sketching the cat, which again you can see right in the corner. The head is shown below, and the whole thing at the top of the article. When asked to why he didn't take a photograph, he said, "I was afraid that it might run away if I moved, so I just stood still, memorizing every feature of the Pogoyan." Hang on one second. So moving on to the next one, Luxembourg, going back out in Europe. In 2009, a black panther was allegedly spotted in the industrial area of Baumelschuer near Bosharaj, if I'm saying that, jeez, these are some hard to name towns or areas. But when police came, the panther was gone. In the following couple of days, the panther was spotted all over the country. For a while, it was alleged that a panther had escaped a nearby zoo, but the zoo later denied that any panther was missing. A couple of days after the Basaraj incident, it also was mentioned that although the police did not find a panther, they did find an unusually large house cat. Well, I guess we got not too much information, so we go right to the next one. Next up is the Netherlands. In 2005, a black cougar was allegedly spotted on several occasions in a wildlife preserve, but the animal, nicknamed Winnie, was later identified as an unusually large crossbreed between a domestic and a wild cat. At the beginning of June 2005, several sightings of a puma were reported to the police near Eddie Harskamp and Rekaram. If that's Rekaram, yeah, I think that's maybe. Gamekeepers found traces of eroded wildlife. The police closed down a large part of the Ginkelsey hiding while in search of the animal in order to shoot it, as they felt that a puma could be a threat to people living in the Veluwe area. However, no trace of the animal was found. An additional search for the animal performed by the organization Pantera with the purpose of tracking the animal down turned out to be unsuccessful as well. On September 21st, photographer Otto Haber revealed the supposed puma as being a crossbreed between a European wildcat and a typical house cat. The cat was one and a half times as big as a normal house cat, which may have convinced those who saw that they were looking at a species of big cat. European wildcats, interestingly though, do not appear in the Netherlands in great numbers, but occasionally they can be seen. So in this case, it is possible that some of the encounters that some of these people may have been because of this cat. I can't say, of course, for sure, but that might be a possible explanation. But still, seeing such an unusually large cat, in some of these countries, which again they're not normally native to, it's rare, but it's still unusual to see. All right, so heading to the next one, Portugal now this time. The Lion of Rio Maior is a former cryptid sighted in 1973 in Rio Maior, Portugal. Many locals claim to have seen a lion in the rural areas surrounding the town. Several cattle were gutted, and the national TV station came to town to interview witnesses and report on it. A hunt for the beast was done by locals and hunters, but none was found. Assumed to be a hoax or mass paranoia by authorities and most of the national community, it would prove to be more complex when in 1984, Jose Diego, a merchant and hunter, confessed to having found a lion cub by the side of the road, possibly after a local circus exhibition. He raised the cub, assuming it to be a weird dog breed, until later realizing the true identity of the creature. A year into the life of the lion, due to its size, Jose moved the lion to an old abandoned area, but possibly due to lack of enough calories or simply to explore, the lion escaped. According to Jose Diego, after the first few sightings and cattle kills, he decided to take matters into his own hands and call for the lion. Eventually, perhaps recognizing its owner's voice, the lion came to him, and as he approached, Jose shot him point blank with his hunter's shotgun, killing the animal. So that certainly is quite a tragedy in this case. But apparently, he claims to have disposed of the body by burning to hide any evidence, afraid of civil repercussions. Still kind of a sad story, though, that even though, yes, in most countries, you're not supposed to really have a lion as a pet, the fact that he had to kill the same animal that he raised, that's still a sad story, that it had to go this way. So yeah, it's definitely sad. Moving forward to New Zealand next. Since the late 1990s, big cat sightings have been reported in widely separated parts of New Zealand in both the North and South Islands. There have been several unverified panther sightings in mid Canterbury near Ashburton and in the nearby foothills of the Southern Alps. But searches conducted there in 2003 by the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry found no corroborating physical evidence. 18-year-old Carl Swanson is adamant he saw a large lion recently near a quarry in Kaiwaka, Northland, New Zealand. He is keen to revisit the site, but will not do so unless he has a gun. The reporter who wrote the story believes Swanson's story is absolutely genuine. The documented eyewitness reports of ABCs in New Zealand are too numerous to be ignored. All evidence points to the fact that there really are mysterious big cat specimens roaming the bush and countryside. In 1996, a big puma-like cat was sighted at night near Amaui, south of Invercargill. That same year, another black panther-like creature was sighted in Twizel. In 1999, panther-like creatures were sighted on 3 different occasions. One on July 16th in Lindis Pass, another on December 12th at Moeraki or Lake Moeraki, and another site at the Banks Peninsula. Actual date of sighting, aside from the year, is unknown. Okay, and I believe, because that's probably it in New Zealand, I think we're now going to get down to, I guess you can kind of say, the main country with all these cat sightings. And of course, no, hold on. I guess we have one more slide before that. So in 2001, a black panther type creature was sighted at a farm in Winterslow, Alford Forest. In 2002, another big black puma-like cat was sighted at night in the same exact location at Amaui as was the 1996 encounter. On March 10, 2003, a black panther was sighted in Mayfield, located 35 kilometers west of Ashburton. On November 10th of that year, yet another black panther was sighted at PPCS Meatworks in Ferton, located 8 kilometers north of Ashburton. On March 5th, 2005, a big black cat was seen in mid-Canterbury. On April 8th, 2006, a black cat-like creature was seen in Hackertier, located north side of the Ashburton River mouth. And I believe this one is the last one. Then in 2008, a lion-type creature was spotted in Kaiwaka Quarry, south of Wangari, Northland. And I just happened to notice, by the way, just before we go on to the next one, that the fade-in did not seem to be working for the latest slide. So let me just take a quick second. Let me try to get to the add the effects very quickly. Okay, there we go. So so we're all set for that one, and I just got to find here we go. For whatever reason, I couldn't find the slideshow. Couldn't find the slideshow button. And hang on, let's see. And also at the same time, too, let me just see if there's any more folks that have me in the chat. What's up, Joanne? Good to see you. Don't worry about pronunciation. I appreciate that, Sean. Thank you. Okay, let's go through this again. All right. So that truly was the last one as far as New Zealand. So now we could get to the main source of these sightings, which obviously happens to be no other than, of course, our country, the United States. Not exactly every single state has these sightings, but we're definitely going to cover a number of the states that have have the majority of sightings. We first stop at California. Phantom black panthers have been reported across the state and are seen with particular frequency at and around Mount Diablo in Contra Costa County, California. Some of the more frequent sightings of California's phantom black panthers occur in the Diablo, which is Spanish for devil, valley east of San Francisco. The Lantrampus Regional Park booklet notes that the black cat is referred to as the Black Mountain Lion of Devil's Hole because it is frequently seen on the slopes of Mount Diablo and in the Devil's Hole area of the park. Mystery lights also turn up in the Mount Diablo Valley area frequently. So it seems like this is quite an area, not just of these cats, but also for additional paranormal activity as well. So next, we got Connecticut. In 1939, a panther-like creature called the Glaucus was sighted in Glastonbury, Connecticut. The Glaucus is one of the fearsome critters, a group of legendary creatures in the folklore and traditions of lumberjacks during the 19th and early 20th centuries in North America. The Glaucus is described as looking something between a bear, a panther, and a lion. The Glaucus is also known as the Northern Devil Cat. It is known for its fearsome screech that compares to the cackle of a hyena. The creature is blind and uses its sense of smell as well as sound waves. Looking into the creature's eyes is said to wipe the victim's memory. It became a national sensation, and sporadic sightings of it across Connecticut continued into the 1960s. Next up, Delaware. There have been reported sightings of what is believed to be a mountain lion in the northern Delaware forest since the late 1990s. It is believed that the creature lives somewhere in the Pike Creek or White Clay Creek area, as this is where the majority of the numerous sightings have occurred. The Delaware Division of Fish and Wildlife believes there may be more than one mountain lion in Delaware, and that they originate of animals released from captivity. Hold on one second. Speaking of cats, because I can hear my cat running around. Because I can't really leave the seat right now, because I got to continue on with this. I got to get someone to open the basement door for her. So bear with me for just a second. She's making a lot of noise here in the back. Okay, so all right, next we got Florida this time. For years, there have been stories of black Florida panthers prowling in the wilderness, but there's never been any official record they exist. A rare black bobcat was captured, and researchers at the Bush Wildlife Sanctuary say they now know what people were referring to when they said they saw the panther. Next up, and not far from Florida, of course, you also have. There's apparently reports also from Georgia. In September 1975, citizens of Stockbridge, Georgia, reported a black panther that screamed at night. After the newspaper stories broke, James Rutledge revealed that he had shot and killed a black cat the previous spring, but he declined to reveal where he had buried it. Now, and in a surprising area, even Hawaii has had its own share of these phantom cat sightings. Stories of mystery big cats on the island of Maui have been circulating since the late 1980s. In December 2002, sightings of a big cat increased in numbers in the Kula Upcountry area, and the Division of Forestry and Wildlife requested the help of big cat wildlife biologists William Van Pelt and Stan Cunningham of the Arizona Game and Fish Department. Van Pelt and Cunningham believe the cat was probably a large feline such as a jaguar, leopard, or mountain lion. It may have been illegally brought into Hawaii as a pet and released or allowed to wander in the wild. No big cat was detected by traps, infrared cameras, and professional trackers. A first sample was obtained in 2003, but DNA analysis was inconclusive. The state's hunt for the cat was suspended in late November 2003 after 3 weeks without sightings. Excuse me. Utah State University professor and wildlife biologist Robert Schmidt expressed strong doubts about the cat's existence, likening it to the Loch Ness monster. Uh, oh wow, we're already on to the next state. Next up, next up in the list of sightings of these. Next up in the state list of states where these cats are seen now. We're now in Kentucky. In June 1997, a small female puma was hit by a truck in western Floyd County, Kentucky. The witness said the animal was following a larger cat with another small cat. He picked up the carcass and turned it over to the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources, which kept the carcass in a freezer. It was determined to be an 8-pound puma kitten with all its claws intact and no tags or collars on it. Apparently, they didn't really give much detail, but the search for its mother and the other smaller cat, uh, either they never issued a search, or if they did, it sounded like to me the two other cats were never found. Now we're on to Maine. On April 24th, 1989, Hubert Graham watched a tawny juvenile puma sunning itself for 20 minutes in a clearing below his fire watch on Blue Hill Mountain, south of Bangor, Maine. In December of 1993, Wayne Perry of Heartland was walking his dogs when he encountered a puma near Decker Pond. He took a photo of the animal, which shows it accompanied by two of his hounds, which, again, this is another one of those types of pieces of evidence where I tried looking for the photograph, but I was unable to find it. So I'm assuming most likely either it's just a very hard photo to find or it never had been uploaded. So unfortunately, I just couldn't find the photo. Okay, here we go now in Maryland. In August 1992, a couple in Street, Maryland, watched for 20 minutes and took photos of a light brown puma the size of a German Shepherd dog. The cat was seen by others as it wandered east through Harford County, which again, I tried looking for photos of that too, wasn't able to find those, unfortunately. In Massachusetts, in late September 1981, William and Marcia Medeiros got within 50 feet of a puma along a trail in the Cape Cod National Seashore near Truro, Massachusetts. Oh, wait, hang on a second. I'm really missing a few of the fade-ins. Okay, no big deal. As always, this can be fixed very quickly. Okay. Why do I keep forgetting I keep forgetting the damn slide, quick slideshow or whatever. Yeah, it's really interesting, and that it's also in Hawaii, Sean. I definitely agree with you on that. All right, give me 1 second here. Once again. All right, so continuing on to the next state. Next up is Mississippi. Black Panther sightings have been reported in many rural areas of Mississippi. The existence of the Mississippi panther is accepted by many natives, even though there has never been any scientific proof to support this belief. The state's proximity to the habitat of the Florida panther is sometimes given as evidence that cougars could also exist in Mississippi. Opponents to the theory deny the existence of the panthers or claim that witnesses are simply misidentifying the native lynxes or bobcats. In Missouri, Walter Bigelow and his wife saw a strange animal cross the round near Mound Creek in the path of their car headlights in mid-July 1957. It was black, 3 feet long, tailless. That's kind of unusual, tailless, and rather stubby. Later, whatever the animal was, it scared some hunting dogs that tried to flush it. In New Hampshire, a 3-foot white puma was seen in the winter of 1992 to 93 around Stewartstown, New Hampshire. Oh, jeez, again, again with another of the fadings that is missing. I don't know what happens sometimes when I save these things. I mean, yes, it's true. Sometimes I might have missed a few of them, but I could have sworn that I added the fade-ins to most of these slides. So, yeah, I don't know. I just decided to just go a little bit forward just to make sure that I didn't have to do any more of them. But I think we're all good to go now. So it's sometimes you just gotta love technology, what it does. Okay. Next up, Ohio. Purported sightings of alien big cats of all types have been reported in the Ohio area since at least the early 1900s. Charles and Helen Marks found more than 200 prints, some with claws around their trailer court in Westerville on June 10th, 1979. There were sightings of panthers in the area in May and June. However, sightings of a panther specifically have cropped up in the Dayton area of Ohio since at least 2011. The first reported sightings occurred around April of that year, which with disputes of whether or not the animal was a leopard or a black panther is reported in the media. In July of that same year, animal control officials released a statement confirming that 3 unverified sightings of panthers were reported to them. The phenomena would reach its zenith on October 18th. On that date, private zoo owner Terry Thompson released 50 exotic animals into the wild. Oh, geez, before committing suicide. These animals would be contained in the following days, with 48 confirmed killed by police, 2 suspected to have been eaten by the other animals, and the rest contained and sent to the Columbus Zoo. Following this incident, numerous sightings of one or multiple black panthers were reported. Throughout the rest of October, the Clark County Sheriff's Department reported that they were investigating sightings of a black panther in the area, with them stating that the sightings predated the Terry Thompson incident by some time. Sightings would continue to occur until at least April 28, 2012, where a black leopard had been spotted some 5 or 6 times during the intervening 14 to 15 months. Geez, so it seemed like, so now we can kind of see in this case, it sounds like obviously maybe not the sightings from the early to mid 20th century, but in the case from the reports from 2011 onwards, I mean, we can assume it was probably just a number of animals. I mean, probably just a number of supposed animals that obviously were released. But if they're saying that this predated the Terry Thompson incident, that kind of goes into question, saying, well, what exactly are people really seeing then? Are they really seeing supposedly some of these, these zoo animals that were released, or most likely is there something else that's been going on prior to the that whole situation on October 18th? Excuse me, for some reason the allergies I'm starting to get like allergies of some sort. Okay, so the next state we got here is Pennsylvania this time. On June 1st, 1982, a Pittsburgh television crew filmed a 30-second videotape of a tan puma near Tarentum on Ruth O'Brien's property, where a series of sightings and puma screams have been reported since July 1979. In the summer months of 2010, a very large cat was spotted in Cheltenham Township, Montgomery County. The cat was reported to be the size of a Labrador retriever, but had markings similar to a bobcat. Although the cat was photographed, the photos no longer exist, so as a positive identification cannot be made. Eerie howls have been heard in the area, but there have been no other sightings. In South Carolina this time, in 2005, a man was taking pictures of alligators in the North Santee River in South Carolina with a digital camera. Later, when he returned home and looked at the images, realized there was a black panther watching him. He stated that he never witnessed or heard the animal for the entire time he was at the river, which once again, see, it's unfortunate when they say that there's video evidence and these photo evidence that you would have guessed that they would definitely be made available online. I mean, again, maybe I just didn't search, enough to try to find either this video or these photos. But again, it's just I just couldn't find them. So again, I try my best trying to find all this evidence. So excuse me. Okay, so now in Tennessee, before European settlers set foot in North America, the native Cherokee tribes of Tennessee, North Carolina, and Georgia spoke of the fearsome Wampus cat, also called the Ewa, that roamed the land. This was said to be the result of a woman who had disguised herself in the skin of a mountain lion and spied on the men of the tribe as they sat around the campfire telling sacred stories on a hunting trip. When the woman was discovered, the tribe's medicine man punished her by transforming her into a half woman, half cat. Supposedly, this creature still lives. It is said that the Wampus cat is a spirit of death in the earth. When her cry is heard, it means someone is going to die and be buried within the next 3 days. Sounds very similar to the Banshee legend. Like how they say that when you hear the cry or scream of the Banshee, that usually means that death is not very far away. So perhaps maybe this is like Tennessee's version of kind of like Tennessee's version, or the cat version of, if you will, of the Banshee. In the early 19th century, the Wampus cat was reported to roam the southern bottomlands and described as an impossibly hideous creature, said to have the head of a man. Oh, in this case, to have the head of a man, the body of a wildcat, only larger, and the soul of a demon. That's interesting. The Wampus cat was known to lurk around along murky river bottoms and feast upon hapless hunters, fishermen, and travelers, and anybody else who wandered too far from civilization. Wampus cat stories and sightings became less and less frequent after the war between the states. Old American South books and newspapers state that Wampus was a name used for an unknown monster cat, as well as other mystery animals. The word catawampus or cattywampus, which means cater cornered, slantwise, or evil, malicious, in the American Heritage Dictionary, seems to be a neutral piece of evidence. I'm starting to suspect there might have been some pictures that were supposed to show up. Again, I don't know what happens whenever I transfer these to my laptop, but for whatever reason, sometimes the pictures just don't show up, and I'm still trying to get the understanding why it does that. So if you don't see anything, I think there was something that was meant to be put onto the side, and again, I apologize if it's not showing up. So I think it's just, as I would always put it, the laptop's just being lazy. Now, further down south in Texas, East Texans living in the rural community of Deadwood and Panola County have reported for years seeing black panthers and mountain lions. In October 2010, Panola County newspaper, the Panola Watchman, published a photo from a game camera. Oh, here we go. Okay, now I got some pictures showing an adult mountain lion. Soon, other newspapers across the state published the photo, including the Austin American-Statesman. The most recent sighting occurred in May of 2018. A victor through his property in Hopkins County and had been hearing these stories about his neighbor seeing a big black cat. The victor was driving through the 100-acre hayfield and saw a large Black Panther-like creature in the middle of the field. He stopped, grabbed his gun, and raised up to shoot it. Suddenly, the creature disappeared out of sight right after he had fired. The hell, get out of here. Hang on. Damn bug. Okay. The victor even went out over to where he thought he had hit it, and it was gone. It did not take cover, neither. Didn't run for cover. It just literally vanished. I mean, I remember hearing about this report. It was so straight. It's like 1 second it was there, and next thing you know, it was just it's like it just disappeared out of into thin air. No sign of running, no jumping. It didn't like I said, didn't try to go for cover. It just vanished, literally like a ghost. The victor believed the cat he shot, which is no surprise at all, was supernatural in origin. So, which I couldn't agree with him more. I mean, it probably was the fact that it just vanished literally as soon as he tried shooting at it. Next, in Vermont, Marion Harpen Peduzzi saw a glossy Black Panther in 1946 near Berlin, Vermont. It was 4 feet in length with an elegant curved tail. Near Craftsbury, in the winter of 1994 to 95, game wardens found tracks, scat, and other physical evidence that produced a DNA match with a puma. In Virginia, cougar sightings are commonplace with the big cats, having been reported everywhere from Lynchburg and Bath County onto Rockingham County. Cougars themselves, however, are not as commonplace as their sightings. In fact, no mountain lions, catamounts, pumas, American panthers, painters, or mountain cats, all the same species, are believed to be full-time residents of the Blue Ridge Mountains, according to wildlife officials. In West Virginia, in April of 1976, a large male cougar was shot and killed in Pocahontas County, West Virginia, after it had killed a farmer's sheep. 2 days later, an apparently pregnant female was captured alive. The state's Department of Natural Resources no longer has the paperwork on the case. Okay, so we're just before we get on to the next slide. So we pretty much have gone through the majority of the states where these creatures are often reported. And while there is a lot, there is one state, however, out of the rest of them, which I decided to save for last, which I decided also, instead of adding in alphabetical order, I decided to save as the best of last, that has the most amount of these phantom cat sightings. And this kind of goes along with similar to what I was doing with the 2 previous cryptids a couple weeks ago. And that state, believe it or not, happens to be once again my state, Illinois. Officially, okay, I know it's a little bit small here for you guys to read, but fortunately I can see it myself. Officially, Illinois has no wild cougars. The cougar is not listed as an endangered species in Illinois for the simplest reason that a species cannot be endangered if it doesn't exist. Donald Hofmeister, former director of the University of Illinois Museum of Natural History, who authored what amounts to the Dead Birds of Illinois Mammalia, reports that cougars were probably exterminated in Illinois before 1870. Today, the only cougars in Illinois are kept in zoos and in people's homes illegally as pets. Despite the fact that panthers and other big cats have been extinct in the area of Illinois for many years, this does not stop the report of the phantom animals from appearing from time to time. In the Shawnee National Forest of Alexander County, which I previously have talked about in the 2 previous slideshows, there have been encounters of large black panthers reported sporadically, surprisingly, since the 1860s. Many of these reports seem to be centered around both central and southern Illinois, once again. In fact, the city of Decatur has become famous over the years in many paranormal circles for its large number of Black Panther sightings and reports. Many of these sightings go back nearly as far as the history of the city, but many are of a more recent vintage. The stories of Black Panthers in the area date back many years, with tales of wild cats screaming in the night, mysterious black shapes that suddenly appear in the headlights of a passing automobile, and sleek feline shapes that vanish into open fields. What draws these mysterious So the question is, what draws these mysterious beasts to central and southern Illinois? That remains a mystery, although ironically, the name Decatur, when translated, literally means dweller at the sign of the cat. So how ironic is that? Is this merely a coincidence, or are there other forces at work? During the 1950s and 60s, reports of panthers turned up almost monthly. Many of them were reported in local newspapers, and many weren't, the witnesses fearing scorn and ridicule. The legends and folklore of the time trace the appearance of the big cats to wrecked circus trains and escapees from local zoos, but these stories could seldom be found to have any basis in truth. What we do know is that the panthers have appeared at regular intervals and then disappeared without a trace. Are these panthers real or figments of the imagination? That is, of course, up to the reader to decide. But consider for a moment a local family that just might believe the stories to be true. So, one of the first recent sightings that occurred here in Illinois took place in September 1955. Several residents on the east side of Lake Decatur near Ria's Bridge reported to authorities that they had seen a black panther. On September 13th, a woman claimed to have seen the animal along Sangamon Road, and that sighting was followed the next night by two truck drivers. The cat was described as being low, slung, and jet black in color with gleaming eyes. A little over a month later, near October 26th, a Decatur game warden confirmed the fact that the animal was a black panther. He not only saw the beast, but also wounded it near the Coulter's Mill area of the Sangamon River bottoms. Warden Paul G. Myers was checking on hunters who were out after ducks and was standing near a thicket when he heard an animal squeal. He walked to the thicket and saw the panther eating a rabbit. He was armed with a service revolver when he quickly aimed and shot at the animal. The panther jumped and ran into the woods. Myers followed its course using his field glasses, but it vanished. He told newspaper reporters that the panther was at least 2 feet high at the shoulder with a body length of 4 to 5 feet. He returned to the area to make an intensive search, but not surprisingly, the animal was never found. He found neither a body nor a blood trail. One Black Panther sighting is even part of Troy Taylor's family folklore. I think there was supposed to be a picture I was supposed to show of him, but yeah, Troy Taylor's family folklore. One night around 1960, his stepfather's mother sighted a panther crossing the road in front of her car. The sighting took place just east of Moweaqua. Now, the next encounter took place in June of 1963. A call to police brought a number of officers to the home of George W. Davidson on Summit Avenue in Decatur. Davidson had received minor face wounds when a large cat jumped on him from a tree. He had been awakened at about 3 a.m. by barking from a number of dogs in the neighborhood. He left the house with a shotgun and saw a large cat leap over a 5-foot fence and disappear into a wooded area near the house. Davidson went into the trees and was attacked. Excuse me. He fired at the animal, which he thought was perhaps 3 feet in length, and thought that he may have wounded it. No trace of the animal was ever found. That same month, Bill Chambers watched a jet black puma for about 15 minutes from his pickup truck near Mahomet. It was hunting in a clover patch 190 yards away. He estimated its shoulder height at 14 to 15 inches, and its total length is 4 feet 6 inches to 5 feet. The next encounter took place almost exactly 2 years later in 1965, when a woman who lived along Ferry's Parkway in Decatur reported a panther as tall as the headlights on a car. She was turning into her driveway when she saw it, and it ran away before she stopped the car. Deputies and a state trooper that came to the scene were unable to find any trace of the animal, except for a paw print that was measured at 4 inches across. The local newspaper reported that panther sightings in that area were not infrequent, although none of the reports have been proved. They also noted that in the years following World War I, the bottoms near Ferry's Park had been cleared, and a tree was found bearing the carved words, "I killed a panther, 1851." 3 days later, on the south side of Decatur, near Greenwood Cemetery, a black panther surprised 3 children in Lincoln Park. The children took off running, and the animal helped itself to their sack lunches. Sheriff's deputies responded to another call in late June of 1967 when Anthony J. Vicone reported seeing a big cat just south of Decatur. He called after becoming concerned about children playing in the area. Authorities admitted that they had been taking many reports of big cats in the area. "We have seen tracks and other evidence," they said, "but have never gotten close enough to the animal to determine what type of cat it is." So this was almost like another big manhunt, if you will. Now, the next sighting, believe it or not, some of you guys might know this story because this was actually featured because they did a segment of this. If you guys remember the show Monsters and Mysteries in America, and they did like a segment on the Phantom Cats, this story was featured in that segment. And I got to admit, this is a pretty terrifying story that I'm about to present. Not to mention, this is also one of the few encounters in which things actually got physical between the witness, and one of these cats. On April 10th, 1970, 19-year-old Mike Busby was stopped by the side of the road south of Olive Branch when the battery in his car died. When he went outside to fix and kick up the engine, a large panther-like creature with glowing greenish eyes, 6 feet tall, black, and standing upright on its back legs, attacked him. Tumbling him about, the creature tore his shirt and inflicted scratches on his arm, chest, and abdomen. The panther pinned Mike to the street, in which he was unable to fight back and get the creature off of him. The panther was about to go. I mean, I don't know if he's still alive today, but when they interviewed him, he said that, he was scared to death. He was hollering. He knew he was crying and he was screaming, just trying to do whatever he could to try to get this creature off him. But, at that time, being only 19 years old, he was already a pretty strong kid back then. But no matter how much strength that he used, he could not get this creature off of him. It literally had him pinned to the ground, literally with no possible means of escape or even to fight back. There was just no way he can get this creature off of him. The panther was about to go in for the kill when a truck happened to be passing by, which scared it off and loped away again on its back legs, which is very unusual to hear. This is also one of the very few, if not the only sighting that I know of, in which one of these phantom cats not only appear in an area where they're not native to, but the fact that it walked and stood on its back legs instead of all fours. I don't even know what to even say about that one. This is truly one of those really weird, bizarre encounters that you really don't hear very often, involving these alien big cats, in this case, walking on its back legs, standing upright like a normal person. And of course, when it loped away on its back legs, the trucker also witnessed it as well. So now you got two witnesses involved. After the attack, Mike later reported the incident to Lauren Cole. See, why are the pictures not showing up? Okay, so yeah, I'm going to have to figure out what's going on. After the attack, Mike later reported the incident to Lauren Coleman, suffered post traumatic stress, and never returned to the road. The police wrote his report, but never truly believed his encounter and never followed up with it. Never followed up. The sheriff killed a large wolf killed a large wolf he believed was the animal that attacked him, to which Mike said no. Now at age 72 and over 50 years later since the attack, he still refuses to ever venture to that road at night, even with someone terrified of crossing paths with the creature again. Now, the next month, an employee of the Macon Seed Company outside of Decatur saw a large black cat that he said resembled a cougar, a game warden, and surely not the same one who admitted shooting a panther in 1955, announced 2 days later that the animal seen near the seed company, strangely, he said was a beaver. One has to wonder what this beaver looked like, as the seed company's employees reported that it left behind large feline paw prints with claw marks. Later that same year, in December, the Clarence Runyon family of Decatur reported seeing a large panther and its cub in a field outside of town. They believed the animal might have been the reason that 40 chickens had vanished from their farm over the summer months. Several of the Runyons' neighbors had also seen the panthers and heard them screaming. Officials from the Department of Conservation who investigated the case noted that the tracks left behind had definitely been made by a panther. They planned to shoot the animals when they caught them, but the panthers were never found. In 1976, another black panther was sighted in Macon County this time, and a man named Louis Jockish from Booty managed to make an audio recording of the cat's cries, which unfortunately, kind of much like it was at the Enfield horror recording, that recording is not available. So I did try my search for it, couldn't find it. Later that same year, a Macon County sheriff's deputy reported seeing a large cat-like animal just southwest of Decatur. The cat slipped and fell as it ducked out of the way of the officer's car. The cat jumped a fence and ran into a cornfield. The deputy fired off several shots, but didn't believe that he had hit the cat. That fall, several sightings were reported by residents of the area. Troy Taylor has always been interested in the stories of these phantom cats since he saw one of his own in the spring of 1984. He was walking in the woods near Moweaqua when he was startled by the sound of something running in the nearby underbrush. He looked up quickly and saw the unmistakable shape of a huge black cat streak through the trees. He chased after it for a short distance, but it was gone. Real quick, I just want to get to the comments very quickly. Hang on. Let's see. Okay, so Sean, I see one from Oklahoma that had come up. Thought I saw it briefly when your slides were messing up. Let me check real quick, but just before I do, let me just get back to everybody else who just came in. What's up, Sam? Good to see you. Shit. You know what, Sam? I don't know if you were here earlier. These sightings I've been talking about, there were sightings of these cats also in South Carolina. So I was talking about that not too long ago. Yeah. Okay. So Sean, you know that story. Okay. Those are big cats. Skinwalker. It could be. Maybe it could be skinwalkers, Sam. That's a good theory. Hello, Lorna. Okay, so let me go back real quick because if I did accidentally skip a slide, I apologize for that. Oh, wait a second. Okay, so what I gotta do quickly is I gotta go back and end the slideshow because it won't let me check it out. Oh, yeah, you know what? Okay, so Sean, you are right. There is okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay, so we're gonna go back real quick to one slide because I accidentally skipped one by mistake. Again, if it weren't for these technical issues, I wouldn't have skipped it. Here Sam says, great, already had a run in with a cougar. That was enough. Well, it's not only just also, of course, South Carolina. It turns out I just recently found out. Let's see here. Let me present the. Oh wait, I got to turn on the. All right, hang on. Okay, so we're just going to go back real quick. So there have also been sightings of these creatures also in nearby North Carolina. In the summer of 1966, a hairy cat-like animal locals called the Woofing Nanny killed a number of animals and pets near Greensboro, North Carolina, bleeding the carcasses dry through puncture wounds. From April to June 1977, Sampson County was plagued by a mystery animal that mangled pet cats and dogs, damaged trailer homes and porch screens, and left numerous chickens, four-toed tracks in the vicinity. In December 2007, an unknown predator mauled a pit bull and killed two puppies in Brunswick County, and residents fear it's the same animal that killed three dogs in September earlier that year. The county's animal control agency investigated the animal's track, droppings, and other clues, but couldn't determine what attacked the dogs. Locals call the unknown animal the Beast of Bolivia or the Vampire Beast of Bladenboro, which I'm actually familiar with the Vampire Beast of Bladenboro. That's how you say it. I'm actually familiar with the Vampire Beast of Bladenboro, which in a future episode, sometime probably next year, we will actually be covering that particular cryptid individually. Some residents and experts said the predator may have been a wayward panther or cougar or even a wolf because 3-inch paw tracks were found at the scene. There have been there have been reports there have been on there have been reports of the noise during the attacks, which seems strange since it's a residential area. As well, no one has ever reported seeing the beast. In November 2008, there were several reported sightings of phantom cougars, um, i.e., catamounts in Boone. The sightings proved consistent with accounts of previous phantom cat sightings in the eastern United States. Dr. David Matthews of the Auburn University Paranormal Zoology Department was called in to investigate. Witnesses all report hearing muffled cat moans. Further investigation revealed that it was only cats living in a wall. I don't know how that's possible. Yeah, now here's what you were asking about, Sean. So, in Oklahoma, a series of camera traps captured images of at least 4 jaguars in the state of Oklahoma. Although whether these are native or migrants from Arizona is unknown. Okay, so now we got that one out of the way. We're gonna go right back to where we were. So I just wanted to read that one before I forgot about it. So again, Sean, thanks for pointing that out. I appreciate it. Okay, so all right, so this is where we were last time, and we're actually almost close to the end. We're actually almost close to the end of. I only got about 13 minutes left before I have to end, but I think we're going to approach the end of the slideshow real quick. So, well, maybe not real quick, but I think we're going to be able to end it just in time. Let me see here, just real quick, what Sam here says. I don't know if I want to run into this creature. Hell no, probably not, Sam. Still have flashbacks from that cougar. Jeez. All right, so Lorna just said I was late in, so sorry if this has already been mentioned. When circus laws changed, they had to have license to keep large animals, so some just took them out to the countryside and let them loose. We have quite a few sightings here in the Highland of Scotland. It is just accepted that they are there, and generally they are left alone. That's actually I mean, yes, it is true. I already kind of did discuss that, although I think I did that on the last show, not tonight. But yeah, that's been typical of a lot of like supposedly where these phantom cats come from. And in a country like Scotland, as well as the rest of the UK. The UK, in fact, actually has a huge amount of reports of these phantom cats. So I would not be the least bit surprised in the case that Scotland would be no exception to these encounters. So, and yeah, I mean, I would pretty much believe the same thing, like just like over here, that as we're going to get into more of these sightings, yes, there's still always a lot of chase, but normally a lot of these creatures that have been seen, in this case in the UK and also from around the world, most of the time these creatures keep to themselves. But some people just have, like any of these cryptid encounters, some people just happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and they just happen to encounter these creatures. Okay, my stay not so spooky on that. Oh, that's right. You're in Broken Arrow. That's right. Okay. Okay, so now we can get back. I'm back onto the current slideshow from where we are. This is going back to Decatur, Illinois. In DeKalb County in 1990, some law enforcement authorities blamed a big cat for killing farm animals. Security staff at Fort Sheridan on Chicago's north side were sent on a wild cat chase in 1993 after a cougar sighting there. So now it's kind of strange. Now some of these reports are starting to kind of be moving up further north, which is crazy to think about because this is getting closer to my area. Unfortunately, though, when these sightings were occurring in the early 90s, I wasn't really born yet. And by the time that, in this case, with this encounter, that was my birth year. In the fall of 1994, a big cat that left some huge tracks behind attacked their dog. The wounds on the dog's throat and shoulder could not be spanned by the owner's hand. That would take an awfully big jaw to leave a mark like that. Black Panther sightings have become a part of the mysterious folklore and reality of Illinois, and the sightings still continue today. In September 1998, a cougar was repeatedly sighted near Edwardsville. While authorities found no trace of the animal, which was first seen on the playground of LeClaire School, state wildlife officials admitted that it was the third report of a cougar near the city that year. Customers and employees of the New You Salon on Franklin Avenue also reported the cougar. A total of five people told police that they had seen the animal inside the fence around the Illinois Power natural gas monitoring station, just northeast of the intersection of Franklin and Madison Avenues. One of the hair salon customers, a firefighter, was the first to spot the animal, and he called police. A witness stated that the big cat had an extremely long and thick tail, and that it was reddish brown in color. It's kind of an unusual color this time. Police officers, while stating that they took the reports seriously, dismissed them as nothing more than reports of a tomcat in the neighborhood. Brenda Edgeworth, the owner of the hair salon, went on to record to say that this was not a cat. I have seen some large house cats before. It was larger than that. The other Edwardsville sightings had taken place in the spring of that year. One had been seen near the Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville and another near Dunlap Lake. Okay, so if they're talking about Southern Illinois University, that's actually located down in Carbondale, which is, again, part of Southern Illinois. This is going back to the southern part of the state once again. An additional sighting had also taken place near Collinsville. State wildlife officials who investigated reports and searched the area stated predictably that they had found no evidence of panthers. On July 15, 2000, on railroads near Fort Kaskaskia State Historic Site in Randolph County, a 110-pound male puma carcass was discovered, killed by a train. Wildlife experts at Southern Illinois University at Carbondale, who examined its carcass, found that the animal showed no signs of captive rearing. Necropsy results showed that the animal had all its claws and had been feeding on white-tailed deer, not pet food, indicating that it was wild and not an escapee. Its DNA confirmed to have been confirmed it to have been of North American origin rather than of South American stock, as would be true of an escaped or released pet. Investigating reporting the finding in the transactions of the Illinois State Academy of Science described it as the first confirmed occurrence of a cougar in Illinois in over 100 years. In 2001, a black panther was seen on 3 separate occasions in Monroe County. In 2003 and 4, sightings of black panthers occurred along Macoupin Creek near Carlinville. As recently as 2007, a black panther was seen around Bloomington, which I've actually I'm thinking of a different town with a similar name. Okay, now here, this one's closer to home once again. In 2008, a cougar was shot and killed near the Chicago River in the Chicago neighborhood of Roscoe Village. So although most of these sightings, definitely most of the time usually occur in central and southern Illinois, you guys could clearly see, for my case, that we've had a few of these reports close to home. So this is probably, I would pretty much say, this is probably the cryptid that is probably the closest to me to where I live. So in all my life, I haven't seen it. We're not too far from a lot of forest areas, although they're not like huge like you would see with Shawnee National Park. But I've always gone through those areas throughout most of my life. And as far as I'm concerned, or at least what I've seen, I've never seen anything like this myself. But I'm always still on the lookout, when it comes to these creatures. In 2012, author Brad Steiger passes along the news that 2 more cougars were confirmed in Illinois. That makes 4 in different areas in the last month. All 4 of Illinois confirmed cougar sightings this fall, clockwise from top. Oh wait, hang on a second. Damn it! I knew there was supposed to be a picture that was supposed to show up. This is some of the evidence I knew I had, but it's not showing up for whatever reason. So I'm just going to have to read it. All 4 of Illinois confirmed cougar sightings this fall, clockwise from top left: Joe Davis County, Morgan County, Pike County, Calhoun County. Photo courtesy of the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, Brett Carlton and Mark Cobb. Eureka High School teacher and coach Brett Charlton captured this picture of a cougar on a trail camera he uses to monitor wildlife on hunting property he owns in Pike County. This cougar was captured by it's not showing up. I thought maybe I put the fade in right at the end, but nope, it's not showing for whatever reason. This cougar was captured by a trail camera in northern Calhoun County. Ironically, the photo was taken on a road named Wildcat Hollow, not far from Panther Creek. So that's a perfect area to see something like this. And panthers are not the only big cats that have mysteriously appeared in Illinois. Troy Taylor has been surprised to learn that many people will accept the idea that black panthers do occasionally turn up in Illinois. But what about African lions? According to newspaper and personal accounts from 1917, a lion did turn up, and for nearly a month, Nellie the lion was the terror of central Illinois. The lion first appeared in July 1917 on the estate of Robert Allerton, located near Monticello. A lion of some sort had been reported on the grounds and had apparently killed several pieces of livestock. One afternoon, the Allerton butler, Thomas Gullett, was out picking flowers when he was attacked by what he referred to as an African lioness. The butler suffered only some minor cuts and scratches, but the search was soon on for the beast. Taylor had the opportunity to speak with a relative of Mr. Gullett in 1990, and she told him that the attack was not only very real, but the most frightening event her family member had ever experienced. It was spoken of in the family for many years afterward, and had since become a part of their lore. Robert Allerton offered a $250 reward to the hunter that killed the animal, and an armed po- uh, sorry, pose of more than 300 men turned up for a search of the large and heavily wooded estate. Ellerton's farm manager bought a quantity of fresh meat and placed it in strategic locations. He hoped to lure the animal into a trap, but had no luck. The lion was later seen that day by two hunters who had given up on the day's search. Shortly after midnight, Paul and Lee Bear spotted the lion crossing a road in front of their truck. They managed to get off a few shots at it, but the lion jumped a fence and disappeared into a cornfield. The search resumed the next day, and while hunters were tramping through the woods, the lion appeared again at the Allerton house. Mrs. Shaw, the chief housekeeper, got a good look at it, and like Gullett, described it as an African lioness. On July 17th, tracks were discovered near Decatur that were 5 inches long and 4 inches wide. Two boys claimed to see the lion later that same day, prowling along the Sangamon River. Thanks to newspaper reports and wild rumors, public hysteria mounted in central Illinois. People mistook dogs for the lion, and one farmer became involved in a widely reported dispute about whether he had mistaken the headlights of an approaching vehicle for the beast's shining eyes. He denied it, but couldn't explain why he had put a bullet into the truck's radiator. Jeez, so that's true panic right there. Oh shoot, I gotta wrap this up. What may have seemed funny in the papers came in as no joke to Earl Hill, Chester Osborne, and the two men's wives on July 29th. The two couples were you know what? Let me just make sure. I know I'm kind of going a little bit overboard, but let me just see how many. Oh shoot, we still have quite the amount. We're gonna have to. Okay, so we're gonna have to probably make this the last official slide, and or wait, hang on. Actually, let me just check real quick. Oh, there's still about 10 slides left. Okay, so we're going to have to make this the last slide, unfortunately, even though we were only 10 slides away. We're going to we'll have to pass this off for at least for next week. So, okay, so give me a second here once again. All right, so we'll make this. Okay, let's read this quickly. Okay, so what may have seemed funny in the newspapers came as no joke to Earl Hill, Chester Osborne, and the two men's wives on July 29th. The two couples were motoring west of Decatur on the Springfield Road when the lion pounced on their car and tried to attack them. Hill and Osborne, sitting in the front seat of the vehicle, first saw the animal standing in the weeds on the side of the road. The animal jumped at them and collided with the vehicle, which was traveling at about 20 miles per hour. The couple hurriedly drove back to Decatur and summoned the police, who followed them back to the scene. To their surprise, wow, the lion was still there, although it vanished over a hill when they arrived. The two lone policemen chose not to pursue it without heavier weapons. They returned in the early morning hours with 2 carloads of other officers. The men were all armed with high-powered rifles. They searched the area for hours, but finding nothing, they returned to Decatur. On July 31st, a farmhand named James Rutherford spotted the lion near a gravel pit. The animal looked at him without interest and then wandered away. Rutherford gathered a group of hunters and brought them back to the scene. They found nothing save for a number of paw prints and a half-eaten calf, which the owner stated had been missing for 4 days. After that, Nellie vanished into oblivion and was never heard from again. Today, the story is only remembered as a legend, but newspapers and testimony of the era assures one that the lion really did exist. In deep southern Illinois, cougars would seem to be as common along some back roads as pickup trucks. Okay, fine. We'll make this the real last one because this one's pretty low as far as the information. The most recent spate of sightings began just after the new year in far northeast Illinois this time, so close to us. large wild animals were driven out of suburban Lake County long ago, the area's real estate prices would make a badger weep. But so far in 2004, some 50 residents have reported cougar-like critters. Typical was the report of at least one and maybe two cougars trespassing on a backyard in Antioch, which that's just like an hour away from me, crossing a forest preserve bicycle path and crouching, presumably with intent, at the edge of a cornfield. It is rare to see any new firm set up shop in Illinois without a tax incentive. If a company of cougars has done so, it confirms what our pioneer forebears knew about its resourcefulness and its independence. Physically, Felis concolor is an admirable creature. The cougar is not a huge animal. Even a strapping adult male would not make the offensive line of most high school football teams, and it has little endurance in the chase. But the cat is astonishingly agile, strong, and quick, which is why so many sports teams in the state hopefully nickname themselves the Cougars or the Panthers. All right, so like I said, we're going to have to stop right here because I'm going to get to Natalie's comment in just a second because, again, I'm already going a few minutes over. But so we're going to have to, not necessarily, but we're going to have to kind of do a little bit of a part 3 for the rest of the slideshow. Hang on one second. Let's see who. Oh wow, it's really gone crazy. Oh, we got a new first timer here. His name's Rose. Rose. Nice to meet you. Welcome. We always love when new viewers happen to tune in, not only for my show, but we got a number of different paranormal podcast shows here on the Things Network. So welcome. Definitely make sure to definitely check out our shows, and hopefully you guys will enjoy us. So definitely appreciate it. Thank you. Bloomingdale's what I first thought. Well, that's right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Sean, I remember. I believe. Yeah, you guys are down in Oklahoma, so I know Oklahoma is known for doesn't get as much attention, but I know Oklahoma does get a lot of Bigfoot reports there. All right, let's see here very quickly. Have a pic of that cougar. Someone bought me a piece of that land. No tell how many acres land. They posted a picture of that cat. I wanted to stop and let them know about it, kids and all. It's been 11 years now since I faced it. Seems like it just happened to this day. I'm sure there's little big ones by now. Okay, so Sam, that's actually interesting. I never knew that you had basically kind of an encounter with that. If you'd like to send me that information on a future occasion, in case if I ever do the slideshow once again, I'd be more than happy to put that into the slideshow, since like I said, I did have a segment of sightings in South Carolina. So I'm glad I was in a vehicle. Yeah, not Nick Files, not a 3-episode subject. yeah, it's kind of that's how it usually goes. Can they read those signs? It's a good question. Not sure. As big as an 8-point deer. Oh, Sam, you're very welcome. Bear too. Jeez. So, but anyways, I got to wrap this up. But I just want to say to you guys, as always, thank you guys so much, for always tuning in, playing along, hanging out, listening to what I got to present. I probably made this announcement the last time that I was on. Originally, I was going to do this next week, but I decided that I'm going to push it back at least for one more week. I haven't even told Jeremy or any other networks yet that I'm going to do this, but I would say the week of, let me see the calendar. Okay, so we got this. Okay, so we got next week, November 22nd. Yeah, so I'm going to change this again. I'll let the networks know, because I really would like to try to end on a slideshow right to the end without doing one as a part 3 or getting caught in the middle of it. So what I'm going to do is the week of Thanksgiving. So I will be doing a show the day before Thanksgiving. That will be November 22nd, because Thanksgiving's on the 23rd this year. That is going to be the official season 2 finale of Nick Files, because honestly, I don't know if you guys were here last time when I talked about it, but with the amount of work I've had to put into these slideshows, it's a lot of work. I mean, I put in so much valuable information. I even got slideshows to this day I still haven't even presented. I'm already putting in. In fact, I'm already working on another one right now for a different occasion. So I've been putting in so much information into these slideshows, weeks, months of work, which I will, like I said, eventually present in the foreseeable future. So to be honest with you, some people often wonder how many exact slideshows have I created. Not only just those that I've presented so far, but those that are waiting to be presented. It's going to sound hard to believe, but I've created now almost 150 slideshows. So that kind of tells you right now exactly how much work I've really put into this stuff. You all are changing Thanksgiving every year. Well, that's kind of true, but it always stays the same. It's always the fourth Thursday in November. So, but anyways, as far as the other shows I'll be on for tomorrow, Rose, by the way, hopefully you're still on. Again, really appreciate you tuning in. So as far as tomorrow, believe it or not, it might actually be another Nick Files episode. It's actually going to be a crossover with my show Into the Grave and Back with Lois, Rosie, and Wayne. We're actually, although we're not going to pick up from where we are right now, I'm actually going to be talking about a very different subject matter. It's something that I definitely think needs to be addressed because it's also an anniversary. We're actually what I'm going to be talking about, and as soon as I get off here, I got to get back to work and try to finish it up as soon as possible. I already got the information, but I still got to add the pictures and videos for this, and hopefully it does show. We're actually going to be talking about a notorious hurricane that occurred over 25 years ago. In fact, just a few days ago was the 25th anniversary of it. It's definitely, and this hurricane remains one of the deadliest and worst hurricanes that have ever occurred in the Western Hemisphere. And that hurricane is Hurricane Mitch that occurred back in October of 1998. October and early November of 1998. It was one of the worst ever hurricanes to also ever hit Central America. It's definitely another sad story, but it's an incredible one. Definitely something you guys should definitely something you guys should check out. It's definitely worth a story like this. And then for supernatural talk, we have, oh my God, I don't know why I keep forgetting who we're going to be having on that show, but I know we got somebody on. And then finally for Friday for To the Grave and Back, we actually have one of our other fellow show hosts who's going to be a guest, which I'm excited about because I know him all too well. We got Greg Backen coming on to the Grave and Back, so it'll definitely be great chatting with him again. And okay, so real quick, I love your information. I need to catch you. Yes, definitely. I really appreciate that, Sam. Thank you very much. Who hasn't nowadays? Love to all hearts. Thank you so much. Like I said, as I always want to put it to the end, I always appreciate you guys again coming in, tuning in. Coming in and hanging out and listening to what I got to say. Because like I said, I not only just do this for myself, I do this for you guys. I can't thank you guys enough. And like I said, just 2 more weeks of Nick Files before I take my break. So definitely make sure to check out what could be eventually a part 3 for the Phantom Cats. And also, because we're going to probably make that third part and really early, I already do have, I'm going to present one final cryptid. This is the last one that I have that's kind of local wise, I guess, for me, but also for the state of Illinois. It's going to be a similar animal. And as crazy as it sounds, there actually have been reports of these creatures. This next episode will be focusing on, and this is definitely something that's not native here to the United States and some of these other countries. We're next going to be focusing on phantom kangaroos. I know, right? It's kind of a crazy cryptid, but apparently there's been these sightings of these kangaroo-like creature and wallaby-like creatures that have been seen throughout the country. So it's it will still be a very interesting one. So okay, so I'm gonna get off here. Thank you guys so much. So thank you, Sam. Sean, peace. I'll watch tomorrow. Haven't been watching that. No problem, Sean. Whenever you have the chance. I'm not sure if you meant by if you were gonna watch the Hurricane Mitch special tomorrow, or if you were going to watch to Supernatural Talk. Either way, that's fine with me. So they fight better. Damn it, Killia. All right. Well, thank you guys all so much. I'll see some of you guys tomorrow for To the Grave and Back and Supernatural Talk, as well as Friday for the Frighteners. But as I always like to say at the end, if not, and you'd rather just wait for the next episode of Nick Files, I will see you guys next week. You guys all have a great night.